Hello, welcome back to GGT, and today I'm going to talk about the Twinkly Flex. So the Twinkly Flex is something I've probably had for about 6 or 7 months now. It's just been sat in the cupboard. I bought this for a specific place on my wall, and I just haven't really got around to doing anything about it. So I bought into the marketing. As you can see, who could possibly resist having anything like this in their games room? So opening up the box, have a nice little look inside, see what we've got. Now, I actually own the Christmas version of Twinkly lights, the literally the lights you put in the Christmas tree, and they are actually really good. I was really impressed, so hence why I was so keen to get some Twinkly lights. So we get a nice little message here from the CEO, Andrea. Thank you very much for that. Now, the actual flex strip itself is actually really well built. Really feels really sturdy, well built. But you get this monster controller, which I don't think anyone actually wants. And then your standard sort of universal plug where you can put different adapters for obviously different countries around the world. You get some nice stickers as well. And there's also a bag full of fixings and guides. So plug it in just to give it a little test, just to check it works. As you can see, it actually looks really fluid. I'm really impressed with how fluid it looks. Now, my camera went a little bit funny here. It doesn't actually look that terrible. For some reason, it just sort of blew out the colours really bad, oversaturated them. It doesn't look this bad in real life. It's sort of thrown the focus out. So they actually look really, really soft, and it's a really nice blend of light on this. With regards to installing though, you ain't doing this on the fly where you think you're just going to make some crazy thing and go with it. You literally have to use the provided clips to get any sort of purchase on the wall. Being a typical man, I didn't actually check the instructions and did not realise that within the box there's actually templates for how to lay out different things. I didn't realise this until I pretty much finished filming, but I did go online on Twinkly's website and found some more printable sort of layouts that you can use. So they come on like a bit of A2 paper, which is 6 sheets of A4, but obviously I don't have an A2 printer, so I had to go through the whole faff of sorting that out and getting them printed out. I had a couple of issues where it kept printing like 2/3 of the images and not all the pages for some reason. That might just be my crappy printer. It might be the actual document itself. I don't actually know. But I printed out a few, and after going through 2 or 3 of them and making the decision, I decided that I wanted to go with the cherry. Because although I don't want it to look like an actual cherry with red and green, I thought with my sort of colour scheme that I use in my room, which is more like the purple and teal sort of colours, it would look quite cool. So what you can see here is a classic case of trying to cut corners. So what I was trying to do is line up the brackets that come provided. As you can see on the design, that there's different placements for different brackets. So I was trying to line them up underneath the paper so they would sort of match up with what was above the paper. But then you soon realise that you're kind of half guessing. So although you've got a guide, you're not really that accurate. So what I actually ended up doing was using a sharp pencil and just marking the centre and the 4 corners of each bracket, just to get the orientation and the placement right. Now, I have to stress, if you don't own your house, this is not the way to do it, because you are going to put dents in your wall. It's the only way to do it. Now, they come in these sticky pads, the 3M pads to stick to the wall, but to line it up and get it to match up with this template, I had to mark the wall. So once you've done this, you're committed. Once you've got all the brackets laid out, it's just a case of just following the guide, which I just laid out next to me, to feed the flex through the sort of web of plastic that you stuck on your wall to get it all to work out into hopefully looking like it did in the picture. So obviously it gives you a start and an end point, so you just follow it round, clipping them in. They just slot in. There's no retaining clip or anything like that. And then yeah, as I say, you just go around filling up the gaps until you've got the entire strip in. So once it's up, didn't look too bad. Needs a little bit of refining. Obviously it's not quite the shape I was after, but it didn't take long before I started to realise that the actual sticky pads on the clips weren't 100% up to standard. There you go. But to be honest, it's quite easy fix by actually screwing the brackets into the wall. The next was just to set up the strip using the app. I mean, obviously you can use a controller, but only gives you very basic controls. Now what Twinkly do, they've got this really clever mapping system. So you put it into mapping mode, and then you just basically use your phone and it will flash all these different colors. And what it's doing is it's tracking what bulbs are where. God knows how it does it. It's very clever. But then this will give you a layout. Not quite sure what's happened to my right cherry, but that gives you a layout which is then allows you to have the effects work properly rather than it being all skew and all over the place. But also you can also draw onto this and then paste colors directly onto each individual LED that you want to. So standard, just had to update the firmware as usual. It's the same app I use for the Christmas lights, so you can get this on the Google Play Store and the App Store. Once it's updated, you can have a little rummage through. They have loads of, as you can see, loads of different templates. I don't know if these are user submitted ones or whether they're on Twinkly, but you can go online and download updates, and they're, there's quite a few to choose from, so you won't be short of different designs, and they're pretty good actually. But obviously they're generic, so they've got loads of different products, so they will work better for some products than others. But a lot of the ones that are just general colored rather than shapes and stuff will work well on something like this. So you've also got the option of using like the magic wand bit of the app, where basically what you can do is after you've mapped out your whatever design you've made, you can draw on I know this is incredible, you can draw on your design in whatever color you want, whatever configuration you want. I think there's 192 LED bulbs within the strip, so it's quite dense. And yeah, like I'm just drawing the cherries out in their natural color, which they would be. I mean, I'm never actually going to have it like this on my wall because it doesn't go with the rest of the theme of my lighting. But yeah, this is just incredible. Like, you can draw it out. You can also add sparkles to it if you want to. Again, not something I'm particularly going to do, but you could sectionals or whatever you want. It really is an intuitive bit of software. It can be a bit clunky to use sometimes. Like when I was drawing out there, it doesn't quite go where my fingers are going, so it's a bit hard in that respect to use. But other than that, yeah, you just swipe through and just choose a different theme or a different design that you want to use. It's incredible, really. So this is how it looks with the rest of the setup. I can't stand the cable hanging down to the side. I really hate cables on show, but I've got a plan for that in a future video, and also how to make the whole thing look a little bit better. So until then, I'll see you in the next one.